Yeah, we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. I got you know, some technical difficulties. Dan's in the building. Let's get Dan in here. My fault. My fault. I apologize. I had some technical difficulties. Dan's in the building. Dan's in
What
the
up, bro?
building.
How you doing, my guy?
Outside with it. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Back with another session of mindfulness, just being here in the moment. I was asking everyone that was joining how they feeling in this moment. And one of the things I realized is that we always say good, right? Like that's like the automatic response. So I was just telling everyone that was in the live before it shut down, without saying good, right? Because that's the automatic response. How are you feeling right now? So I said in the moment for me, I'm just like I'm just very calm right now.
Yeah,
Uh, I just feel calm. That's how I currently feel because we automatically say, do you know it, right? Like you walk
yeah.
out, you talk to people in the morning and they automatically say, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. It's like, are you really good? Or are you just saying that because that's like an automatic response? So for me, right now, I'm calm. So I'm asking you, um, Mr. Danny Belmont, right? Mr. Danny Belmont, how are you feeling right now?
I'm amazing, bro. I'm alive, man. You know,
Mm,
just for me being alive is why shouldn't I be phenomenal and blessed because I'm alive?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I think me and you and a lot of people that understand that you are energy. You want to
Yeah.
be as vibrant as you can, right? Like you want to be as
Mm,
alive as you can because you're alive.
yeah.
You know, you are
Yeah.
alive and you're full of life. You know, so you always got to bring that energy because everything's a mind state, bro. So if you
Yeah.
feel that you're down, if you feel that you're sad, if you live in that state, that's how your life is going to be. You're going to always be, down and, all is good. And it's like, all is not good. It's just through your current perception,
Yeah.
it's, bro, what's weird,
Do.
man? It's like, if something positive happens and then
Hmm.
someone gets the feel of, oh, I'm great. Like, I just got a raise. I'm great. And then you let an
Yeah.
outside thing control and dictate your emotions, which I understand. I think is positive. Like, congrats to you. Pat yourself on the back. You deserve it. But
Hmm.
also that shouldn't create whether you're down or you're up, bro. Like, you're
Mm.
alive, man. So I think people need to really mentally live in that, live in that way of
Yeah.
thinking. And like I said,
How
man,
how do
at the
you
end of the day, you're
how do
alive,
you
bro.
how do you because like you know emotions are interesting, right? Like some days you wake up and you do not feel like your best self, right? Some people go through it, some people don't. Some people just wake up positive. How do you when you wake up, right? And those moments where you don't feel like your greatest self, how do you balance that? Like, is there like some tools and techniques that you use for yourself? Do you speak out
Yeah.
loud? Do you do your affirmations? I speak about meditation a lot. Like, what do you do when you wake up and you're not, because and I picked this for Monday mornings specifically because the heart attack rate goes up 60% on Mondays, right? So with me knowing that, I wanted to get on these lives to have these mindful conversations because most people just don't like going to work, right? Like Mondays is the start of the week. Most people just don't feel like their best self on Monday. D just wrote in here. He's very busy because of work and whatnot. And most of the time it's because Mondays are like those busy, busy days. Like for you, how do you balance that, right? Like in those moments where you don't feel your best, what do you do to hit that switch?
Go in the mirror. Go
Mm-hmm.
look yourself in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Start looking for all the gratitude, looking for all the things that you're thankful for, right? Don't let your mind get in chatter and look for what's wrong. Go look for what's right,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, bro, is you said it right on the spot, man. Meditation, bro. Like people don't realize how powerful meditation is when you consistently do it, and you're like, yo, I do feel good after that. Like before, and I don't know, you know this. You're in meditation, your mind could be so much chatter. And then when you meditate and you go deep within your meditation, meaning like more than like 5 minutes, the voice starts slowing down. After you're done with your meditation, bro, you feel so much better, right? Those thoughts
Yeah.
that you were once having, they're no longer there. You
Hmm.
have other thoughts, right? And I think people don't realize that. Like, yo, I heard an amazing statistic, and we have like over 60,000 thoughts a day, and you're clinging on to 10, the ones that are negative, and you're letting that. And when you cling on, that becomes your reality, bro, and that becomes a downward spiral, and you go in that rabbit hole of negative thinking. So to get yourself out of that, positive thinking, do some
Hmm.
meditation, go in the mirror, look at all the things you're grateful for, right? And that
Hmm.
can get you in a positive state. And then the rest of your day will be more positive. That's my
So
little,
so so like, all right, let's walk me through this, right? You wake up in the morning, you don't feel your best, right? You got all these, negative thoughts. Most likely it's from the past. Some of the times it's from the fact that we have to get up and go to work, right? 90% of the people that, work jobs really just don't like their jobs. We're heading towards a phase of entrepreneurship where people want to work for themselves. And even that can be stressful, right? You can also speak on that too, right? Like building your own business can also be stressful. So you wake up in the morning, you get to you said the mirror. Is this a conversation that you're speaking out loud? Is this conscious conversation when you're in your own thoughts? Like, what would you say to people that really like walk them through
yeah.
uh that process of, I would say positive affirmations right in the morning? What would you say? Like, is it speaking out loud, or you just sitting there looking and being in a state of gratitude? How does that work for you?
Yeah, so a couple of different things. Affirmations is one thing. Like, I always believe something is hearing us around us. So saying out loud affirmations, something is
Hmm.
listening. Whether you're aware of it or not, something is listening. And so saying affirmations is very powerful. I have a lot of affirmations that I sell that I've said them so much repeatedly, they're literally what we were talking about earlier, where it's automatic now, and they're just verbatim
Hmm.
for me. And that's the problem. I think in the beginning, you have to do the work, right? Like you have to consistently, if you want to learn affirmations, you got to say the same affirmations like 100 times before your mind can be like, oh shoot, this is memory now, right?
Yeah.
Because everything is repetition, and repetition is the mother of all skill. So
Mm.
understanding that you need to constantly remind your own self, and I think that's the what people be like, oh, I don't want to do that. Yo, you have to do that. Like this is for your own health, and that's just with affirmations. But specifically with being in the mirror, bro, like go look in the mirror when you first wake up and you're having negative thoughts, because that's the other challenge, right? People are not even aware of
Mm.
themselves. They just go straight to work. You don't have time for yourself. So take 15 minutes out of your busy, busy day, first thing in the morning, and go look yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself you love you. Tell yourself I'm thankful for waking up. Something woke you up today, bro. You're not saying thankful. You're not being thankful, right? So
Yeah.
tell yourself that you're thankful. Really show yourself that love, bro. Like
Hmm.
me, I think this is really important that people also don't realize, and we need to do more of it, is the most important relationship is the one with yourself. That's the most important relationship, because that relationship will literally transfer into other relationships, but you
Mm.
have to love yourself first, bro. And if you don't love yourself, how are you going to love someone else, right? Because at the end
Mm.
of the
Mm.
day, people sense when, if you're in a state of, wow, that person is just, you know no self-love there, like. And I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier, the good.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's all the same kind of way of thinking. It's just like, yo, you're great, like you're unlimited, you're magical, love that,
Yeah.
be with
Yeah.
that. And so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And no, that's so beautiful, and being present with that, and not feeling guilty for having that ultimate self love. Because some people look at it as, oh, he's when someone's like, because I heard this so many, I heard this from a couple people. It's toxic positivity, and it just completely throws me off because it's like I don't want to be in any other state, right? And when I'm in those moments where I'm not feeling my best, it is a battle to be in this state of mind, right? It's a challenge, it's an uphill battle. But I rather, and I feel like you get this sometimes through the conversations we've had, I'd rather be in this state of mind. Not that I'm hiding any other emotions, you understand those emotions, but you know, time is uncertain, right? Because at any given time, you know, it could be a wrap, right? Like we can go and transition into our next life. But it's like I'd rather use these moments in a positive way as much as possible. And it's not easy, and I completely understand because some people be like, oh, you know, you make it seem it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's worth it at the end of the day. And I'm miles I it's better off being in this state of mind than being in any other state of mind, right? Because the other state of mind, right, the negative state of mind, it depletes your body, it depletes your energy. You can tell in a person's posture, right? So it's important to be in this state of mind and not allowing other people to make you feel like you shouldn't, you know, be positive and have these optimistic thoughts. You know, that's very important.
Yeah.
My next question is because
I just want to say one thing to that is, you know,
yeah.
I think people need to realize it's your job to be positive. It's not someone
Mm,
else's job to give you permission to be positive.
I got you.
Right? Like
That's
this is your journey. This is your relationship with yourself.
yeah.
And you cannot let someone else creep into your mind or question your state of being. This is
Yeah.
your state of being. Take ownership
Mm,
and accountability for you, you know, and
mm,
that's the
mm,
work, bro. And I get you, man. Some people want to come in if they're not positive, if they're not happy, they want to spill that energy over to you. Hey,
yeah.
if you allow that, that's your problem.
That's on you.
If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
allow
So
that, if you allow that
you
person to
kind of
come
got
in
to
and
have like this shield over your aura. So when someone comes to you with like negative energy or optimistic, you got to protect that because if not, then what happens is it slowly seeps into you and then you start turning into the people that are around you, whether it's a work, and it happens a lot in workplaces, right? It happens so often, right? Like I've told you many times, like throughout, you know, my journey, like you would have a conversation with certain individuals and they'll be very pessimistic, and then you will slowly start changing into these individuals, not even consciously knowing it. So, like you said, man, like it's your job to find that peace within, to find that happiness within, you know, to be very optimistic about life, and you don't have to seek it within other people. I feel like when you are that person, you tend to attract more people that are like that.
exactly, for sure,
You know,
for sure.
what do you feel about? Because this is something I'm very conscious when I feel like you're a conscious person when it comes down to uh the things that you speak, right? Like, well, how powerful do you feel like words are, like words in conversation when you having? Because I even know with you, like certain conversations, like you don't even want to have if it's about, you know, we don't talk about the news, right? We don't talk about things that we really don't, like literally if anyone knows me and Jamie, like certain conversations just don't come up with us, and a lot of things we just don't even know. And I feel like you've always been like that, like because you never really like watch TV. What do you say to the importance of uh the things you speak into the universe?
Yo, that's everything. That's everything. That's preparing. That's planning, right? You're asking for what's already yours. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's important when you like. I think people just speak to speak. Like people just speak to have conversation. You know, and like that's why I don't have any negative conversations because then I have to be negative and I'm speaking negative and I don't want to speak that into the universe. So I
Yeah.
really try to not have those conversations. You know, and bro, like in my opinion, all you should be speaking is about forward and possibilities and how
Mm-hmm.
can you either learn, because I think when people want something or they try to people just want, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it's about, you can want, it's amazing, want all you want, or like this world is yours, you know, but at the same time what are you gonna give? Right? Like you're
Mm,
wanting
mm,
all these things, but what are you gonna
mm,
give?
mm,
And I think so. Universe heard you. They heard all your wants.
mm,
What are you actually gonna give? How are you gonna help? How are
mm,
you gonna serve? And
mm.
I think once the universe,
Okay,
whatever's behind
Mike,
you,
Mike,
whatever's
what up,
hearing,
bro?
and they see you, you'll get
Yeah,
everything that's yours. So
yeah.
it's part.
One,
It's a twofold,
it's
right?
so interesting because like I'm about to go pick up my niece, and one of the things I'm teaching her now in her development is speaking like positivity, like words of affirmation. I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm amazing, and I have her literally repeating that all the way down the block to the train station because I want her to speak it and I want her to feel it now in her early days. You know what I mean? Just
Sure.
because there's gonna be a time I'm not here, right? So I want her to always, you know, remember these moments and to remember like you can speak life into yourself. And sometimes as people we feel like we need other people to speak life into us when it's like the most powerful voice that you have is your own, you know, and you're gonna live with that for your entire life, right? Is that voice from within. So, what you speak into this world, even if it's about a topic that could be negative, right? How you speak about it, you have to be mindful. And I always say, like, try to limit those conversations. If it's going down like a negative rabbit hole, try to limit it and be mindful, like, okay, and ask yourself, like after the conversation, I was having a conversation yesterday, and you know, I asked myself, literally to myself, how did I feel about this? And I felt my body get tense. I asked myself, how did I feel about this conversation? And I think that's important. We have to be mindful because sometimes these conversations is just not beneficial. Like remember us, like we would have we stopped this a long time ago. Me and Danny are big basketball fans, right? And we would argue all day about LeBron, about Stephen Curry, and we would argue to the point where we wanted to literally choke each other until we got to a point where it's like, yo, what is this really doing for each other? Like us as men, you know, we gotta have that. We feel like in our minds, we gotta have like our point gotta get across, and you gotta understand me. And then finally, we got to a point to understand like, yo, this is not beneficial to our spirit. It's actually making us angry because you can bring that same energy, like me and you have a conversation, right? And we'll see our ladies later, right? But we're carrying that same energy from that conversation and we may lash out because we used to go like we would get intense, like arguing in the streets about two basketball players, which makes no sense at all. So
Many years ago.
it's very important to be mindful of the words you speak into this universe, no matter what conversation, and just be very calm and centered within yourself and just understand they're just words, right? When like if Danny responds to me in a certain way, it's just his opinion is just words. I don't have to, take it like personal, right? And that's something I had to learn, throughout my journey is not taking things so personal, you know?
Yeah, for sure, bro. That's yeah. you know, you
you
know,
know,
yeah. No, I get you. 1,000%, bro. When was it for you? Do you think? Because the idea of closing out negative conversations, it's always in the moment, right? Like,
yes.
yo, you could speak to 15 different people today, and half of them can try and talk to a negative conversation with you, and you're each one of them. You're like, yo, if it's negative, I don't even want to be near it. How do
Yeah.
you feel that they take that personal? Where someone just wants to be heard, even if they're being negative. Are you willing
Yeah.
to hear them out?
Oh no, no, 100%. And I think that I would consider that my one of my superpowers, right? And because I get it all the time, especially in like in my job and everything. Like people literally come to me to dump out, and it can be very draining. But I realized just people want to be heard, right? People just want someone to, listen to them, and they need to release it. And by the end of the conversation, I kid you not, these individuals feel a lot better because I always end it on a peaceful standpoint. Like I know how to switch the conversation into like love, light, and peace. I really feel like I'm really great at it. I'm really great at it. So at first it was very draining for me, but then I realized like, yo, maybe I'm the guy that people want to talk to. Like they feel like no one else in their life is actually listening to them. So I don't mind listening, even if it's 5, 10 minutes. I try to keep it as short as possible, and I try to direct it into a positive light. You know what I mean? It's how you lead the conversation, how you direct it. I don't think people are necessarily just bad people or, just all the time walk around angry. But we carry a lot inside of us, right? We carry a lot of trauma. Like, think about it. We talked about this earlier. Like, Monday morning, the heart attack rate goes up 60%. 90% of the people just don't like their job. They don't like, who they're working for. And with me, understanding that I'm able to be in certain conversations. I feel like I can talk to anyone. I can sit down and have a conversation with any person, and if I don't have the words in that moment, I would just sit there and just, listen. But I'm always, and I learned this from Jim Rome, this, I'm always standing guard at the door of my mind, right? So just imagine a club, right? If you would, will you like imagine a nightclub? There's always a bouncer in, right? There's always a bouncer right in front, and on that line, there's people always trying to come in, right? Sometimes people not trying to pay, sometimes people trying to, rush in, but there's always a bouncer to check in people and see like, all right, you got the right ID, you're at the right age, you can go in. That's me in every conversation. Every conversation, I'm literally a security guard at the door of my mind. And I know how to allow certain things in, and I know how to say, you know what, keep it pushing. I may not say it to you. I may not say, yo, Danny, what you just said. I'm not in my head. I'm listening to you, but I'm understanding. All right, I can take this. I can bring it into my club, or this might not work. So that's something that I developed over time. And once I got that, it clicked for me, and it helped me be able to engage in conversation with many different people from all different types of backgrounds. And this is why I wanted to do like Mindful Mondays and just have these conversations. So yeah, stand guard at the door of your mind, bro.
Wow, that's amazing, bro. I love that. That's amazing skill that you got to constantly work at.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It could be hard because sometimes at that door, right, it could be so much at once. So much at once. That person that's talking in front of you, that's speaking in front of you, are just it's really trying to get into your mind. But you really now you gotta be an even taller security guard, right? Now you gotta bring the other security guards out and really stand there and not allow it. Because as soon as you allow these thoughts, ideas, and energy inside of your club, it changes it. And guess what happens when people that are not supposed to be in your club come in? It gets shut down. And getting shut down is your body, is your energy. Your energy shut down. Now you're not the same person. Now the club is no longer fun. So that's how that's like my way of just viewing things and viewing conversation with people, bro. What about you, man? Like
yeah,
how do
yeah.
you do it?
For a long time, I felt I could hear people out as well. But at some point, I would try and, I guess we would say, change their perception about the situation or circumstance. And I've been I'm a very passionate person, so when I think something is right, I'm like, yo, like, this is it, and I would try and change someone's perception, and I've realized, like, you can't do that, right? That's going to be draining for you, trying to change someone else's perception. And you can help, you can guide, right? You can show them, like, hey, you ever thought about this? But it's also not your job to force someone to understand what you understand. or what you think you understand, right? And for a
Yeah.
long time, I think the suffering is trying to change other people. You can't
Mm,
change someone else. You can show them there's opportunity there to change.
mm,
You can show them, hey, you ever thought about this? You could share your
mm,
experiences. You could look at things from a
mm,
different perspective, but you can't change someone that is not ready to change, and
mm, mm,
specifically the mindset. And, for me, for a long time, I was in that trap of me trying to change someone else in a
mm.
conversation that's having a negative thing. And sometimes I will be like, yo, like, I get what's going on right now, but let's change our current way of thinking to a
Mhm.
new way of thinking. And some people are
Yeah.
not ready to change their current way of thinking. They just want to
Agree.
vent and be heard, like you said.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
as of now, I wouldn't say lately, but I've been more conscious just to listen, man. And it's not
yeah,
up to me to change, to help someone else change. Now if
yeah.
someone asks me like, hey, how would you go about things? Hey,
Then,
there you go. Then that's what
mm,
allows you to come in and say, hey, but this is what I would do. Yeah.
yeah,
So
I get that. I get that, and it sounds more like you're on a path of like influence, right? Like I can I can influence you, but I can't change you. And if you want to use my influence as something that's going to automatically change you, then let's do it. And that's why, like, when we see your videos and you post your videos, it's a lot of influence there. Like people are watching and saying like, oh shit, maybe I can take this gem, I could take this nugget, I can take this, and now I'm influenced. Danny's not trying to change me as a person, but I'm being influenced to be a better individual, be more mindful about what I'm doing. So no, nah, man, like that's key. That's key. That's key.
yeah,
I like that. I
can I
really,
ask
I
you
really,
a question? And I
yeah,
think
yeah,
everybody should answer this for themselves. I asked
yeah.
this to some people yesterday, and it was like,
What's up?
if you could describe yourself in one word, what would it
Yeah,
be? One word is all you got. You ain't got a sentence. You literally have one word. What would you describe yourself?
that's great. And
So think, man.
I'm
Think.
a,
Be calm.
no, yeah, yeah.
Think about that
I
word.
and this goes back. This goes back to our initial conversation in the beginning when you asked someone like, "How you feeling?" Good. It's like I could have easily just picked a word and just said something, but I really need to take a moment and think about that. That's great. Um, if I could pick one word to describe me
Like your character,
is
who are, who.
okay. I got it. I would say I would you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I would say light. I would say light. I feel like my character uh brings light inside of rooms. It brings light to people. Um and that's what I want to do, right? Like I want to every conversation I have with someone, I want to leave knowing that I left some type of light inside of them, right? Or I left some type of spark or some type of energy. So I would say one word would be light. Yeah. What
Beautiful.
about you?
I think I said yesterday. I say passionate.
Mm,
I think I'm a very passionate person. I think I've always been
yeah,
very passionate. And
yeah.
I love that word. Passionate, man. I feel like some people are not like we're passionate on things that we think we're good at or we think we
Mm,
have knowledge on. And all I gotta say is, man, you don't need something else to be passionate, right? Like this is
mm,
something that it's because what passionate really is, in my opinion, is total belief. You just have overwhelming belief in whatever you're passionate about, whatever you're speaking about, whatever you're doing. So just have
mm,
that, just be full confidence and belief in yourself, man. And you don't need someone else to give you that. This is something you got to work within. And yeah, I think passionate, man, is what I would say for me. But
mm,
yeah,
mm,
I would
mm.
just say, man, for everyone else too, man,
Yeah,
like,
shout out to everyone that's in this room right now. So if you can, if you're paying attention, if you're watching, give us one word that describes yourself. Danny said passionate. I said light. If you're in here right now, what's one word that describes you? And if you don't know, and take some time. Maybe you don't have the answer right now, but think about that. I think that's a great question that we should ask ourselves. Because that knowing that it helps you operate on your day-to-day basis. So since I said light, now throughout my journey, I'm like, okay, I'm being mindful. Like, yo, this is the word that describes me. So I want to be that person. I want to bring that energy. I want to be that light. I want to be very light in rooms, right? Like I don't want to bring heavy energy or dark energy. I want to be light. I want to be bright. I want to be vibrant. You know what I mean? So it's great question. Great question.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, grateful for
Uh
everybody being in here, man. I wish you guys
yeah,
all
yeah,
happy, abundance, prosperity, and much more in your life.
yeah. What
People tell us,
do
see, people don't share that, man. And it's like, yo, when you talk about being light, man, like show other people positivity and spread that, man.
relentless.
We're in a, I love,
Jawan said relentless. I like that. I like that. Yeah, it makes sense. It
I
makes
love,
sense. And knowing you, Jay, that is that's a perfect that's a perfect word based on my experiences with you, based on what I see. You know, I like that. I like that. Original. I love that. I love that. That is great. I like that. This is good work, dude. That was a good final word for yourself. I like that. Oh, what were you saying? Because you were saying something before I cut your wisdom. Go ahead.
um, I, I don't remember, man. Sometimes I'm just,
We
I'm just
go.
I'm slow going, man.
Yeah.
But here's who in here, and I would say ask you this, and I know me and you definitely, this helped our lives tremendously with helping us change our perception in
Yeah.
negative situations, right? How do
Hmm.
you feel books have helped you look at things from a different perspective?
Oh man, books have literally
Like
changed
what
my
book?
life.
Is it a fiction,
Uh,
personal development book? Is it a
I
science?
would say spiritual. I would say spiritual books. Personal development books. It has helped shape my perception on life. When you're reading a book, you're able to go into the minds of other people, right? Like you're able to see how they portray life, how they view life, and how they got through this life experience. And you're able to take um, certain tools and techniques that you can use for yourself, right? You're able to shift your thought pattern. And I promise you, bro, because growing up, I didn't like reading. I didn't like books. I don't even know if I read a book through high school, honestly. But reading books have literally changed my life completely. So yeah, I would suggest everyone to at least read one book a month. We can start with that. I would say read a book a week if you can, like to really go full force with it. But reading is a beautiful thing, and plus it brings you into a mindful moment, right? So when you're reading, you're very intentional. You're in the moment. You're reading the words. There's other parts of your brain that you're using to read, and I feel like it makes you stronger mentally. It makes you more focused. It's another form of meditation for me. So yeah, I would say reading changed my life, bro.
Yeah,
Real
a
talk.
1000%,
What
bro.
what 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 about you?
I, you've hit it right on, man. Bro, like I think I've hated reading as well, and
Yeah.
you know, a lot of the times people hate things that are good for them, right?
Uh,
And that's a challenge because now the only reason you hate it is because you're uncomfortable, man, and that's okay. Being uncomfortable isn't a bad thing, right? That shows you that's something you need to work on and grow with.
yeah.
And I feel like that's how it was with reading with me. Like in the beginning, I didn't like to read, and not only I didn't like to read, I would force myself to read out loud in the book. You know, so I would hear my own self reading, and that teaches what people don't realize. Now you're teaching yourself twice, right? Because you're reading the actual words, right, from the
Mm-hmm.
book, but you're also speaking it out loud, and you're hearing what you're reading, right? So not only you're
Mm-hmm.
seeing it, but you're also hearing what you're reading. And a lot of times, I promise you guys, that's been a big game changer for me. Was, yeah, we're reading books, but read out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And when you read out loud, listen to what you're reading. You're like, wow, it hits different. You know, so I would
Yeah.
definitely recommend that for people that are early on their journey when it comes to reading. And yo, these books, I forgot where I've heard this, but I think you heard this as well. And it was like, the secrets are in books, right?
Yeah.
The secrets are in books, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not just
I would
something about
agree.
like financial, it's like anything, the lessons, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you're there to learn from other people's experiences, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so read.
And I would also say too is I feel like everyone should work on their own book, right? Like I think we all have a book inside of us. We all have our own life experiences. We all been through ups and downs. We've all overcame certain challenges in our life. So if you're watching this right now, like make sure you take some time out to work on your own book. Like just, you know, writing your notes, whether it's on, you know, paper or on your phone, just start slowly writing like your story. And you know, it's very simple to publish a book. It's not the steps aren't that hard, but we all have a book inside of us, you know, all of us, each, and we're all philosophers. We're all like very special individuals, and just understand that you too have the, you know, power inside you to do many amazing things. You know, we all do, because we read books, and like me reading these books, it's inspired me to, you know, work on my own and start writing, you know, things down on how I view life, because eventually, you know, 50, 60 years down the line, you know, there's going to be people wondering how did we get through this time period and how we survived this time period or what we did. So I feel like it's important to pass that down, and all of us have it, right? Like your experience is different than mine, but it's still an experience, right? So, you know, we all have a book inside of us. I strongly, strongly, strongly believe that.
I love that, man. That's
You
amazing.
know,
Yo,
but you know,
anyone that's in here, do you guys have any questions for us or anything, you know, that we
yeah,
can
yeah,
anyway to give a different perspective or
yeah,
anything? Does anybody want to talk about anything? Like, you know, I think me and Brandon are both open books, and
yeah.
we're here to
And
have.
we've had billions of conversations, like billions, 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 and every year it evolves into something different. Like it's like the evolution of our conversation. We would sit down for literally like hours and just talk about just different perspectives on life. And I just feel like we are all philosophers of life, you know, philosophy. Like we have, it's like Socrates and Plato, like we'll sit down and just talk about life and everything. So, you know, it's always beautiful to sit down and have these conversations and to just bring more people in. Let's all talk about it. Like, what are we thinking? What's going on in our mind? That's why I asked in the beginning, how are you feeling? Right? Like, we got to start with that. How do you feel in this very moment, and being transparent about that? You know. So yeah,
Well,
yeah. This was an amazing, you know, conversation. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna upload it to Instagram first, and then I'm gonna take it down and I'm gonna put it on my YouTube channel where people will only have access to watch it on that channel, not just Instagram. So I'll leave it up for like, you know, probably like 15, 20 minutes. And then I'm taking this down, and then you got to go find this conversation on YouTube. But this is another episode of Mindful Mondays. I want to thank each and every person for coming in here. You know, even if you came in for 2 seconds, and you know what people do, they peek in. They peek in. It's so funny. I'm gonna say this before I go, but going live is so interesting, right? Like you ever uh like click someone's live by by accident,
Like,
and you got it there. Yeah, it's like you go into someone's room, and then you're like, "Oh shit, you see me?" And then I'm out. That's how going live is. I seen a couple people coming here, and they're like, they peek in and like, "Oh shit." Honestly, it's okay if we see you. We know that we see you. You see us. See, it's okay. Mindful Mondays is for everyone. There is zero judgment in here. It's nothing but love, peace, and positivity. There's something I want to do. I want to have a billion people in here and just having these, mindful conversations each and every week. So again, D, thank you very much for tuning in, man. You are a very insightful individual, and I'm gonna continue to wish you the best on your life journey. I wish you success, love, peace, joy, and happiness.
thank you, bro.
So, is there anything you want to share with the audience before we tune out?
The only thing I want to, tell all of you guys is today, right? You heard our conversation today. What are you going to do positive to help out your mind? And what are you going to do positive to share that piece with someone else? Right. So let's spread our conversation today. So not only you gain from it when we're not here, but how can you share what you learned in our conversation today with someone else? So that's my message.
Thank you, thank you, everyone that tuned in. If you're tapping in right now, tune in next week to Mindful Mondays. This live will be up on my YouTube channel, So Far Gone. So I'm gonna put it up for 5 minutes, and I'm taking it down. You're gonna have to catch this on YouTube. That's the only way we catching these Mindful Mondays. But until next time, be at peace, and remember, peace is power. Love you guys. I'm out of here.